how did Ahmedabad University come to your mind?
Well, so first of all, we see our role as catalysts. We don't see our role as doers. As Sushmita was saying, we feel that the wealth that has come to our hand, we are custodians. So our job is to connect that to people who have the capability, the competence, the ability to scale it, and who have governance. So public health became a big thing on our mind, Sushmita's in my mind, because we felt that that is a missing link. We are spending huge amounts of money and huge amount of thought is going into building building hospitals and building health delivery systems. But you need to also build discourse on public health as a subject by itself. And there was a big vacuum there. So we said, where do we go? So we, have been associated with many different educational institutions. But we felt that here is one which is not too big and not too small, but an organization that has deep interdisciplinary capability and has got a research mindset and got an eye on global excellence. So when we combine all these things, then we said Ahmedabad University would be a good place to actually nest it. And Ahmedabad as a city itself has a track record of building great national and global institutions. So there is something like, in English we talk about a sacred space. We felt that Ahmedabad University would be a sacred space to build something like this.
What are the projects in the pipeline? You've already invested in a cancer institute. What is it that you think should be done from here?
Actually, we have been very fortunate. Last 18 months have been a slew of engagements, small and very large ones. The small ones are mostly to do with blindness and public health in tiny underserved places in Odisha. But the big projects have been like, she was saying and you were saying, was the large 750-bedded cancer hospital in Bhubaneswar with Sri Shankara Cancer Foundation. The second was the Karunashaya Bagchi Palliative Care Center, which is probably going to be the largest palliative care center in the country. So these two are in Bhubaneswar. But the other very significant one that will be open middle of next year is the Indian Institute of Science-led Bagchi Parthasarathi Hospital, which will basically build what we call the physician scientists. So given those three big projects, and this one, I think this one meaning the Bagchi School of Public Health, hands will be full for the next 18 months.
So next question that I have is more from an industry that you belong to, the tech industry. We are seeing a lot of changes. There's this cusp of innovation that is happening in the tech industry with generative AI and AI in general. Do you see that the Indian companies are at par with their global peers right now? Second fold is about the investment in education. India has always been seen as a place which produces engineers. Do you think with the kind of AI wave that we are seeing, our institutes are fully, at par with their global peers in developing the kind of engineers that the world needs right now?
So I think, first of all, I see a bright future for Indian IT companies, IT services companies, and not just IT or IT services companies, because if you look at artificial intelligence and generative AI, it cuts across everything. So in general, for Indian business organizations across board, not just IT and IT services companies, or tech companies, I think there's a very bright future. There's going to be a lot of disruption, but as and when there have been disruptions at a global level, Indians have this capability to be very strongly opportunistic. They can grab the ball in midair and run with it. So I see the next 15, 20 years for the Indian economy itself to be a global player of significance. It's becoming a reality by the day, every day. Now, we're talking about the second part that you say about will we be able to create globally relevant talent? I think so, yes. However, I think it will do well to step back and say, what is the benchmark? Our institutions, barring a few, are still not global benchmarks. But it is one thing to complain about that. The other thing is to engage. Now, how do you become a global benchmark? I think our institutions, our public institutions, tend to be underfunded in a programmatic manner. You make funds available, but you don't say that here is a large chunk that you want to use for longitudinal study. Here's a large fund that you make available for brain research. Here's a large chunk you make available for child and maternal health. And in doing so, you take what we call, Sushmita and I call, the long view of time. Because the big problems of mankind are not ones that get solved in 5 years and 10 years. You need to have a long view of time. So once we create institutions with a long view of time, without conditionalities, with the right kind of global benchmark, there's no reason why India cannot contribute to global well-being through education and research.
My last question to you, Mr. Bagchi, on that is that Mindtree has been your baby. How do you see Mindtree right now after the takeover by LTI? Second part is that we have seen a lot of your co-founders get back into the game with new companies. Will we be able to see you at any given point in time stepping back into the tech atmosphere?
So this is the new company. So, Sushmita and I always have seen ourselves as startup people. And when you think of a startup, it doesn't only have to be based on capital ownership. It doesn't have to be based on financial ownership. I think emotional ownership is ownership like no other ownership. So we're very grateful that life has been kind to all my co-founders in Mindtree. Everybody is doing well, everybody has moved on, and everybody is doing things which are relevant and unique and good. So we have chosen to do what we have done. What happened was very coincidentally, both Sushmita and I were invited by the government of Odisha to step into public life. And last 8 years, I've actually been doing that, and last 5 years, she has been doing that. So once you step into being public servants, it's a very different ballgame altogether. That world actually, engulfs you in a way. Then after that, it's very difficult to think about, private enterprise. So.
Make informed decisions with comprehensive analysis on the go.
Strengthen your portfolio with real-time market updates on the go. Create effective strategies with insightful expert opinions on the go.
Grow on the go with CNBC-TV18, now streaming live 24/7 on YouTube.